We've made it to college football season. Can you believe it?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
The fall's finally here. The fall is finally here, WD. Finally. Well, sorta, technically, kind of, sorta.
Yeah, it's starting to cool off a bit here in the Triad. It is the Drive with WD and Dez on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Going to be adding to that though. We'll get to the Panthers and the Jags. I mentioned Carolina TCU. Well, I didn't mention the game. I just mentioned that college football was here. But that is what it is. We're going to see TCU probably hand Carolina their butts on Saturday, sadly. But we'll actually get a deep dive on that game on Thursday. Today's all about the Panthers. We got some Hornets stuff. We got Ricky Raines from Panthers on Tap podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But right here at the top, you and I, Des, we wanted to make an announcement because we've had some stuff cooking the last couple of weeks, and we got a pretty exciting announcement to get to about the show.
We do. Some breaking news coming out here, and some of you may have already seen it. The press release came out earlier this morning as we sit here on a Monday. I'm looking to go find it now, but we've been working on this for a little while. As you guys know, we have a relationship with David Glenn. Will intern for him. I did a lot of projects with him when I was initially the producer of the show 8 years ago, going on to. He's moved on and started the North Carolina Sports Network, him and Mike Waddell. And we got approached to come in and maybe do some stuff with them. And after some conversations and talks, we're very proud to announce that we are going to be joining the North Carolina Sports Network in terms of a production deal that we have with them. And I'll just read part of, and you can read the full press release at sportsconamonthly.com. You should be able to go there to do it. I'll just give you the first little bit of it here. And this is a really long press release. Now that I'm scrolling through it. North Carolina sports media brands join forces in major statewide alliance. North Carolina Sports Network and Tobacco Road Sports Radio unite legacy experience, next generation production, and live programming to tell the stories of the people, places, sports, and culture of the bold North State. Old school and new school are joining forces to help build the future of North Carolina sports media. The North Carolina Sports Network and Tobacco Road Sports Radio today announced a major statewide content production and distribution alliance that will combine established North Carolina sports voices with a digital-first live programming operation. This will allow us to bring the Drive with WD and Dez over to North Carolina Sports Network's YouTube channel. They have about 79,000 subscribers and growing. It's one of the fastest growing channels in the state of North Carolina. They will be taking care of statewide partnership sales, brand development, distribution, and cross promotion. Tobacco Road will take care of audio and video production, social media execution, and promotion. The YouTube platform from North Carolina Sports Network will become the primary destination for full-length video programming produced through the Alliance. This show being one of the flagship live shows that they'll start having over there, as well as a deal we're working on where we're going to start bringing you a high school prep game of the week that will be streaming through from Tobacco Road over to North Carolina Sports Network. That'll be available across the state, well, really across the country. So a huge deal, WD. When it came to us, we were kind of like, it's a no-brainer to join up with them. DG's a regular with us. Again, we've known the guy almost a decade. They do great work over there, and they were doing stuff that we weren't doing, and we were doing stuff that they weren't doing. So it was a perfect marriage for us to join forces. And make sure you bookmark the North Carolina Sports Network on YouTube starting September the 1st. This show will start airing. The full episodes will air on North Carolina Sports Network. You'll be able to get segments of the week and things like that from off of Will's Drive YouTube account and Tobacco Road's YouTube account. And of course, you'll still be able to hear the show as well on tobacco-road-sports-radio.com. But just super excited to join forces with these guys, and just a huge commitment for the Triad and the Triangle and the Charlotte area for North Carolina. You're going to start getting coverage that you haven't been able to get in a while on a more frequent basis. And nothing changes with the show. Same great guests, same great format, same everything else. So just ready to get rolling and get to work.
But that is very important for whether you're watching on Tobacco Road Sports Radios or the Drive's YouTube. I know we've got regulars on each one. We will not be live on these channels anymore. So it is very important to stress. You need to go, first of all, subscribe to the NC Sports Network YouTube page, but get over there because that is where You're going to be able to watch our lives from now on and interact with us because, it's one thing to get clips and comment on them, but one of the things we love about going live is that we can interact with you guys on a regular basis in real time because we see and we read your comments. So to keep doing that, head over to NC Sports Network, their YouTube channel, subscribe, ring the bell. You'll get notified. Anytime we post anything. So that is very important.
Huge. Just super excited that we're getting a chance to put this on a bigger platform, and especially in 2026 where, traditional media like terrestrial radio and other things, while they're still out there, and we both have had experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where everything, not where it's going, but this is where it is. Like, this is where everything is at. And that's why we decided to bring the drive to YouTube specifically. And, shout out to Mike Waddell and David Glenn for recognizing what we were trying to do and seeing it early and grabbing us. And I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get into this show today. Again, you said loaded show.
We do. So we'll dive into the Panthers. Additionally, with Ricky Raines a little later in the program, but I did want to kind of get to our initial thoughts from Panthers Jags on Friday night because it went pretty well for the Panthers. And I get it. You always have to preface everything. It's a preseason game. We get it. But given how they looked in Buffalo, they looked a lot better in Jacksonville. Now, a lot of that had to do with the guards are very important to protecting Bryce Young. And when Bryce Young is protected, he plays better. He can sit in the pocket and he can get it to T-Mac and he can get it to Jimmy Horn Jr. Like he's much better in that way because he is a smaller quarterback and he needs to be able to sit in the pocket for a little bit to be at his best. So that was better. A lot of the defensive guys were out, but Dez, just off the top, what were some of the things you liked, maybe didn't like? What were some of your takeaways from Friday night?
Well, initially, I saw that Jacksonville wasn't playing their starters. And my first thought was, oh, man, we're not going to really get beat on what's going on with us. And then I thought about it. I was like, actually, no, we will, because if we still come out here and stink it up and we're not even playing the starters, now it's time to panic. We said all last week, don't panic. Now we would have to panic. If we came in here today and they had lost 17-6 against like the second string of the Jaguars, that's probably a problem. So having said that, I expected us to play the way we did since we were playing the second string basically for most of that game, and they came out and executed. I like the way the offense looked. I like there was a good mix of running and pass. Jonathan Brooks looks really good, and I feel like they're going to forget that Jonathan Brooks was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. And I kind of feel like they have, that the national media, they've kind of forgotten who Jonathan Brooks was. He was the best running back in that draft 2 years ago. He was the first running back taken in the second round by us in that draft.
He was just hurt.
And then he just hasn't really played. Yeah, he just hasn't played since he was at Texas. And that was literally, 2024? So, we've gone 24, 25, 26. We're going into year 3 of not seeing Jonathan Brooks yet. This is the first time we've seen him.
3 games.
I was very impressed there. Yeah. I would not be surprised, and Chuba didn't play because he's got a hamstring or something. They're keeping him off of everything. Don't be surprised if Jonathan Brooks is starting some football games with a healthy Chuba Hubbard by like week 3 or week 4. I could easily see that from the way he runs a different style than Chuba does. Chuba's more north-south, like up. Brooks is he's got a little shiftiness to him. He can put his foot in the ground and go like he did on that touchdown. And I think he's faster, which is crazy because he's had 2 ACL tears, and I think he's faster than Chuba. So
wild. I'm
excited. We've got a 2-back system for the first time really since 2017. Jonathan Stewart and Christian McCaffrey. Or no, we had one Deonta Foreman and Foreman and CMC? Or no, CMC was already gone. We already
traded
him.
Foreman and Chuba because I was there.
Yeah. Chuba's rookie year. Yeah.
Do you remember that Detroit game that was like one of the coldest games on record for the Panthers
in
Charlotte?
We beat the brakes off of the Lions in that game. I do remember that.
And they both went, I think they both achieved, I don't know if they achieved it in that game, but I know that season around that time that they both went for 1,000 yards. I think that was. And we and I don't think we had seen that since Jay Stu and D'Angelo Williams back in the day. Yeah,
and they have the NFL record. They both ran for 1,100 in the 2009 season. I think it was Stu's second year. So yeah, they had that there. They had a great offensive line there too. And I told Stu that on Believe in Panthers. I was like, I think with Brooks and Chuba, we have a chance to really do double trouble 2.0. I think with the way the offensive line is set up, and they say they want to run and everything else. There's an opportunity here, and if they're really serious about running the ball, and these running backs can find these seams like they were on Friday night, I like what I'm seeing. I do. I really do.
Jonathan Brooks is a receiver. So I'm just picturing this. Like, we know T-Mac, we know Jalen Coker, what they bring to the table. If we can get the third receiver really figured out, whether it's XL, who didn't play because he got rolled up on or something in practice, he's still nursing that. Whether it's XL, whether it's John Mechie, we'll see how Jimmy Horn Jr. fits into the fold. He had a great night. If they get that third receiver figured out, and then let's just pretend they get really solid tight end play from maybe Darren Waller. Let's just pretend that it goes that way. And you got a nice receiver and Jonathan Brooks in the backfield at times. Now you're talking. Now it's like, man, they kind of got weapons everywhere when you really think about it. And I did not sell.
Yeah, I
would like to say I did not sell my Jonathan Brooks stock. I never did. A lot of people started to label him as injury prone. I never sold. I'm like, just give the guy a chance.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, especially from this franchise where we watched Thomas Davis overcome not one, not two, but three derailing knee injuries during his career and to come back. I would think that this fan base would be equipped to actually root for somebody like that as opposed to, not.
He's got a great
because we're used to it. We've
too.
Seen it. So yeah. He seems like a great kid. Like, for all accounts. Now, my guy Jonathan Stewart, he's been in the building. He talks to these players and stuff all the time. And he's taken a liking to Jonathan Brooks, where he told me back in April, he was like, Jonathan Brooks is going to be legit. Like, when he gets on the field finally, he's like, he has the temperament for it. He's built like a Greek god. Like, he's literally a running back. Like, and he was like, you're going to love Jonathan Brooks. And he was like, I hate that the national media has forgotten that we have him, but they're not going to forget for very long. So Brooks and Jimmy Horn really flashed for me on Friday night. And I'm happy because we've been waiting for Jimmy Horn to kind of take that next step. Be that he has an opportunity now, especially with Chris Brazel out for the year, to actually take control of that, take the top off the back of the defense guy. Like, because we thought that when we drafted him, that's what we were doing. And he got some moments in the end of the year. He dropped that pass at the end of that Rams game that I know he's probably still thinking about in that playoff game. But I think this year, from year 1 to year 2, he can take a huge leap and actually be that guy on third down, 3rd and 7 or whatever, that you just send on a go route and he can go. Or you can do like we did in that preseason game, a jet sweep to the right side. Saw the rookie Freeland with a huge block that kind of sprung around that corner. And then if you watch it on the screen, like, once he got into the flat and got around that corner, he just outran everybody. The only reason why he didn't score is because he got tripped up shoelace tackle basically. But I think they clocked him like 20-something miles an hour once he got into the flat and started going. So shout out to Jimmy Horn Jr. for probably cementing a role in this team.
I will say, so we mentioned that the defensive guys, a lot of them didn't play. Like, I don't think J.C. Horn played. I don't think Mike Jackson played.
Derek Brown didn't play. Yeah.
Derek Brown, he didn't play. One of the interesting spots on the field that there is a bit of a question mark, inside linebacker, a little bit. Like, I think you got Claude and Sherrillis there, and you're still trying to get it figured out at that position, I think. But I think that defense overall, I cannot wait. And we saw a little bit of it from Jalen Phillips in Buffalo, like what he's capable of. I just cannot wait to see that defense at full strength. And it further points home the point. It is put up or shut up time for Jiro Evero. That is the bottom line.
No excuse this year. Now, granted, Derek Brown gets hurt week 1 like he did a couple years ago, then that might be an excuse. But if he has all his horses, this is the first year Ejiro Evero in Carolina can't use the excuse of, I don't have enough guys to run what I run. He's got plenty. Like, and they've spent money like on specific spots to make sure he had this. If they come in here healthy, usually we come into this WD in the preseason, we're looking at the defense like, where's our major hole? Like, where's the hole that everyone's going to exploit? Because there's always something. This year, Honestly,
Do we know?
which I feel the linebacking core might be the weak spot because they're still trying to figure out some things there, but they spent money there. So we'll see how that goes. The defensive line looks like it's going to be pretty solid. I think the secondary might be the strongest area of the defense that we have. And in a passing league and in this division with, Tua Tagovailoa, whoever's going to end up being Tyler Shuff, of course, in New Orleans, and then Baker Mayfield in Tampa. You're in a throwing division. None of those teams are going to be known for running the ball, even though Atlanta has Bijan Robinson. Most of these teams are going to be throwing and a lot. So to have a secondary that might be the best, I think they are the best secondary in the NFC South. If you go just name around, I feel pretty good. Now, again, it's August. It's the end of August, so everyone feels good. But more so than usual, I haven't felt this way really since maybe the first year of Matt Rule before the bottom fell out, like when we were super optimistic and we still had remnants. We still had remnants of the previous regime still here. CMC was still here and DJ Moore was still here. And so I'm
Greg
feeling
Olsen
that.
still around for that? Greg Olsen wasn't still around.
I think he was gone. I think he went to Seattle for that last year or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, well, I'm optimistic after seeing that yesterday. It doesn't feel like Brad Isaac is over his head in terms of play calling, and he's kind of getting to a groove and let him have all of his horses and go. Because they're not going to play the starters next week. Like, that was it. If you watch that game this Friday, you're not going to see them guys again until the second week of September.
Yep. Preseason finale Friday at home. It's the only preseason game that they've had in Charlotte against Houston. Joint practices are actually happening right now as we speak in Charlotte with the Texans. CJ Stroud and those guys are in town. But the last thing I'll say on that, and we're going to move on to the Hornets here in just a second. The last thing I'll say, Ejiro Evero, he's no excuse time. But the more we talk about it and say, like, where's the hole at? Man, they got some great weapons. It's no excuse time for Bryce Young, too.
Yes. And again, this is the time where if we're going to do something, it's got to be now or next year because he is going to get some sort of extension, I would imagine. And you want to do it while he's on his rookie deal. You want to get, like, when the Seahawks won their first Super Bowl, Russell Wilson was still on his rookie deal. So they were able to pay the Legion of Boom, and they were able to keep all the people together. And by the way, I think that's what they're doing in Charlotte. I think they're building a Legion of Boom 2.0 in our secondary. That's why they've got Will Lee and all these guys that are back there, and they're going to keep a bunch of guys. They're rebuilding that. Dan Morgan came from Seattle. Dave Canales came from Seattle. Like they have it ingrained. It almost feels like Seattle, like what they're doing over here, like the Pete Carroll Seattle Seahawks, like that group. Everything's always upbeat and positive, and you're never really down and negative. It feels like that. So we'll see what they do. Again, you're not going to see the starters next week. I doubt a single one of them will play or even dress up. It's going to be really more for the last 3 slots on the roster for this preseason game coming up here next week or this week.
So Ricky Raines of the Panthers on Tap podcast going to join us later in the show. We'll pick up the Panthers conversation or pick it back up with him. But right now, let's get to the Charlotte Hornets because I was thinking about this. You know, we do these Mount Rushmores, whether it's, of all-time NBA players or whatever it is. And there's a lot of teams like the Lakers and the Knicks and the Spurs that could do these great Mount Rushmore lists. But what about a team like the Hornets? Because it can get a little dicey. And when you think about it, if you try to put a Mount Rushmore together, it may not have the same juice as some other franchises around the league. But Dez and I are we have put our own Mount Rushmores together. And I'll give you the floor here. What did you come up with? I'm excited about this.
All right, so and I'm gonna write these down so we can see how close we are to them. If you're talking about the Charlotte Hornets, the first name you got to put up there is Larry Johnson, Grandmama.
Yeah, Grandmama.
He when we got him, number 1 pick overall, 1991 NBA draft. It changed the trajectory of the team because it went from being like a expansion team, like led by, Kelly Tripucka and Del Curry and those guys. They win like 12 games, 15 games. When they got LJ, it turned them into a national draw because Larry was coming from UNLV, one of the greatest college teams of all time, probably my favorite college basketball team of all time. Imagine 25-year-old grown men playing college basketball in 1990, whatever, and just beating the brakes off of everybody. Like literally Saturday afternoons on CBS, it'd be UNLV versus somebody, Arkansas, Duke, whoever. And it was just like, how quick can they get to a 40-point lead? Like literally like every Saturday, they were just beating everybody. And LJ was the best player. So you get him and it changes the Hornets into this kind of fun team that everybody wants to start watching. He's on the beginning of NBA Inside Stuff, like the thing at the very beginning where he's doing the dunk and stuff. And then he got a national deal with Converse doing the grandmama thing. So I'm going Larry Johnson, number one. Number two, I'm going to go with Kemba Walker because he's the leading scorer in Hornets history. And, of course, he was there during a period of time where they didn't have a lot of success. But hold on, my dog is doing –
Uh-oh. I think the dog likes the list already. The dog's getting fired up.
So we're scratching at the door trying to get out. Like what are you doing? Kemba's the leading scorer in Hornets history. The problem with Kemba is that he didn't really lead them anywhere, and that's why I'm gonna have an honorable mention here in a bit that people might be a little controversial. But I got to put Kemba. He's the leading scorer in Hornets history and one of the top players. So I'm gonna put him there. I'm gonna put Alonzo Mourning number 3 because when we got Zoe, that's when we became like a playoff contender. And people don't realize how close we were to getting Shaq that year. That was the year Shaq came out, and we were this close to getting the number 1 pick. Did not get it. Orlando got it, and we got the number 2 pick. So we got Alonzo Mourning instead of Shaq. And then the Magic won the lottery again, like the next year, and drafted Chris Webber, traded Chris Webber draft night to the Golden State Warriors for Penny Hardaway, and that set up Shaq and Penny. And maybe we'll get to careers of basketball players if they hadn't got hurt. Who's the guy that you would, wish hadn't got hurt? Something like that for barbershop talk. But I got Zoe at 3, and then at 4. I was sitting there thinking about this. I'm like, who would I put there at 4? And honestly, I'm going to put Muggsy Bogues. I'm going to put Muggsy Bogues at 4 over LaMelo Ball. Just because Muggsy was already known in this area because he played for Wake Forest. And he was already like this crazy larger than life figure, even though he's only 5'3" or whatever. Just watching him play at the size he was playing at was nuts. And he was the ringleader of those early 90s Hornets teams with him, Kendall Gill, LJ, Zoe, Del Curry, J.R. Reed. Like they were making these playoff runs. They just happened to be in the same decade as Michael Jordan and the Bulls, like in the Eastern Conference. So like they weren't going to get much further than that. And the Hornets have never made it to the Eastern Conference Finals before in their entire history. Their claim to fame, they retired Larry Bird. That team that retired Larry Bird because they beat the Celtics in a 5-game series. Larry Bird's last year on put a shot by Zoe as time expired in the 4th quarter, and they celebrate like they won the NBA Finals. And that was the last game Larry Bird played as a Boston Celtic. He, of course, did play with the Dream Team right after that. But we retired Larry Bird. That's the biggest thing we've done in the playoffs. And Zoe hit that shot. Muggsy was the point guard of it. So I've got LJ, Kemba Walker, Alonzo Mourning, and Muggsy Bogues.
That's a good list. I mean, I feel some parts of ours might be similar, but there might be a couple of pieces of mine. I don't know. Some fans might want to revoke my Hornet card when they hear.
We'll see. Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe I'm underestimating. I don't know because there's so much nuance with the Hornets. It's not like, oh, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan. This
ain't the Lakers thing. Yeah.
It's not rings. It's not these binary accolades. Like it's kind of, I don't know, certain different relevances. So let me start with the same place that you start. So you go, just in review, you go Zoe, Larry Johnson, Muggsy, and then you go
Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with Larry Johnson too. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Because I feel like he was really the original superstar
for Charlotte. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like he was, and for all of the reasons that you pointed out, like Grandmama. People recognize him for that. Number 1 overall pick in 91, Rookie of the Year, 2-time All. Like, it just, there's enough there where it's like, I feel like you kind of have to have him there.
And he's the reason why ultimately the Hornets moved. Like people don't really. I wrote like a 3-part article about this a couple of years ago where George Shinn, he was the owner of the Hornets back in the day, and he gave Larry Johnson this $84 million 12-year deal, it was the largest in NBA history at the time, to lock him up there. And what happened was Alonzo Mourning wanted money too, and he was right behind him, and they were negotiating out their deal, and they realized they weren't going to be able to come to a deal, and he ended up getting he has money from Miami like later on, like down the road. But what happened was in '96, there was this weird thing with the class of '92 that came out, Shaq, Zoe, all of them, where because of the collective bargaining agreement that the players had done with the league, for one time only, it made all of those players unrestricted free agents at the end of that year. So there was no like bird rights or nothing like that for Shaq or any of them. They can go wherever they wanted. And Zoe ended up going to Miami because Miami offered him $100 million. And George Shinn didn't want to offer him $100 million because he's paying Larry Johnson 84. Zoe goes there. By default, the trickle effect happens. Shaq goes to LA, gets $120 million, which was more than what Zoe was getting. And people were like, how do these players move like this in the same year? That's why, because of the collective bargaining, it made it where all those players had 4-year deals, rookie deals, and they all became unrestricted free. It will never happen again. But for whatever reason, it did that year, and it affected the Hornets. And Larry Johnson's career could be divided into two. His Hornets career, and then after he signed that deal, he hurt his back. I forgot what he was doing. He hurt his back doing something, and he was never the same player again, and kind of became a 3-point shooter and ended up in New York and played for the Knicks, and they made it to the NBA Finals in '99 with LJ. But yeah, LJ and the Hornets, first like 3-4 years, one of the most explosive players. Actually, I said it at the time. Zion Williamson reminded me of Larry Johnson, like his game. Yeah. That was LJ. That was Larry Johnson. Just Zion was a little bigger, but LJ was taller, but their games were pretty much the same. So LJ definitely got to be on here.
The second one I had, which was kind of a no-brainer for me too, it's Del Curry.
Ooh.
This is where I put him.
Okay.
So, I mean, because for one, like he's one of just two. I mean, obviously Bill Russell, but that's league-wide. Like he's one of two Hornets that have their jerseys retired.
Yeah.
Like it's Phil's, and now
Bobby Phillips,
as of this year, it's Del. And when I think about Del Curry, I think about shooting, and I think about those sweet Hornet, just uniforms and the swag. Like back in the day, nobody had swaggier uniforms than the Hornets. They just didn't.
And the starter jackets and stuff, like early 90s, like the Hornets gear was it. Like, yeah, I remember those days. It was fun. It was really fun.
And now he's he's an announcer for the hometown network team on FanDuel Sports Network is where they do it now, not Bally. So he's just, when you think about Del Curry, you think Hornets, and you really don't think about anything else. And who knows, maybe one day he'll bring Steph Curry home. Maybe he'll help be part of that process. I don't know. We'll see. I don't
know. I wouldn't mind it. I don't want to give up anything for it, like we talked about last week. But yeah, I'd be for it.
Third on the list. This is where I put Kemba Walker.
Okay.
All-time scorer, isn't that right? The
leading scorer, Hornets. Yeah.
So I think about Kemba. I wish he would have had more playoff accolades. I wish they could have done more in his tenure, built more around him. But unfortunately, that was the Michael Kidd-Gilchrist era. And they could have had AD. They could have had AD in that draft.
I swear this Hornets franchise has been cursed in terms of generational players coming out of college. We have the worst season ever, and then we get the number 2 pick. Like it's happened like 3 times. Like literally, Shaq, Anthony Davis,
Wemby.
Dwight Howard. Yeah, it's happened. Ugh. It's always a center.
Were we the number 2? We weren't the number 2 pick in the Wemby. Weren't we like 3 or something? I can't remember. Where did we take Brandon Miller? What pick was that?
Number 2. Actually, I think we were number 2.
Oh, so we could have had
Wemby was number 1.
Oh my God. I just
4 times. It's happened 4 times.
It was so painful that I just shoved it away and I didn't want to remember it ever.
Can you imagine if Wemby was on this roster? So we wouldn't have Khan, but we wouldn't, and Brandon Miller, but like it'd be Wemby and probably LaMelo, right?
So instead of LaMelo throwing oops to Miles Bridges, which was great, he could. I mean, we would have had Bridges anyway potentially. So you throw him to pick your poison, Wemby or Miles Bridges.
Hell, you could have cleared the roster and just built around Wemby. Like, I wouldn't have been mad at all if they got Wemby. Like, you know what, LaMelo, you got to get out of here. Just go. We're going to just build around this fella over here.
I'm mad.
Yeah, we missed that one too. So that's 4 times the Hornets have had a chance to get the number 1 pick and probably should have and did not because somebody else got it instead. And great.
So it's Larry Johnson, it's Del Curry, it's Kemba Walker. And here's the one that I don't know. Maybe Hornet fans will revoke my fan card, or maybe they won't. I thought about Muggsy Bogues.
Oh, see? Okay.
I thought about it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to put LaMelo Ball here.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put LaMelo Ball here just because.
Why?
There's a
Why? Like, legit.
Maybe it's not the greatest of reasons to put somebody on the Mount Rushmore.
I just like him, yeah.
but LaMelo Ball, it is one of, and has been for some years now, one of the more entertaining players in the NBA. And he is a player that kind of I don't want to say put Charlotte on the map, but you know what I mean. Like when LaMelo's on, somebody who's not a Hornets fan that lives out on the West Coast, they might flip it on to see what LaMelo's doing this time. Like,
he's fun. One of the most fun players to watch in Hornets history for sure. I'll give him that.
He's a great personality. I mean, he is a great player. Now, there's some bad that comes with LaMelo, but I think there's enough good to where it's like Charlotte, that he had juice, and he gave Charlotte some real juice that I don't know that they had before.
See, I thought about LaMelo because it was between him and Muggsy for my last spot, and Gerald Wallace, but he was a Bobcat, not a Hornet, so I don't really know how I feel about that era, like that era right there. The only thing with LaMelo is that he missed so many games, like in his tenure here. Like, he missed a lot of games, like 60% of his games. And I think because of that alone, I can't do it. But for star power, yeah, definitely, he has got any consideration.
That's why I said, when you're talking about Hornets Mount Rushmore, it goes beyond rings. It goes beyond, MVP players. It's like, you got to measure things like this. Like, oh, he got people to watch. He was a superstar. He's got some juice. So those are our Charlotte Hornet Mount Rushmore. Maybe we'll do a Panthers Mount Rushmore one of these times.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good too. Now we got a couple of Hall of Famers that should be right there at the very front, number 1, number 2. So
that's
right. We can do that.
Before we get to Ricky Raines, let's get to today's edition of Soundcheck, because I've got 4 clips that I'm going to bring to you now. A couple of these are video. I don't know if you saw some of these videos that we're going to play in a minute, Dez, but it had the internet talking and kind of laughing at the Hornets a little bit. So we'll get to those in a second. But let's start, like I said, we're going to break down UNC TCU more in depth on Thursday ahead of the game on Saturday. But Bill Belichick, he did a press conference. I don't know if this was on Friday or what day it was, but sometime over the last few days. He met with the media ahead of this matchup before they travel. I think they're going to – I don't know what day they're going. I think they're going to travel on Tuesday maybe, or I don't know. I mean, it's double.
Probably just to get used to the time difference and everything else, I would imagine.
Yeah. But I believe this is the first time we've heard Bill Belichick speak after they named Billy Edwards Jr., the transfer from Wisconsin, QB1. And Bill Belichick – he spoke on that, and he kind of gave his reasoning for why they made that call.
Bill is probably a little more consistent. He has more experience, and that probably showed up over a long haul. We're talking about close to almost 2,000 snaps between the spring and training camp and 7-on-7, getting the throwing drills and all that. So based on one play or one series or one touchdown or one interception or anything, it's a whole composite of it. He just came out ahead. But again, we have confidence in all those guys, and whoever's in there, everybody feels good about it.
Good jams.
It's was say, is this supposed to still be going on? Or okay.
You know what? I actually think this may be an NC Sports Network clip that they put out. That audio from. So let's get acquainted already.
Yeah.
Good jams on the network.
Oh man.
But I mean, we had David Glenn on Thursday of last week, and he talked about, I mean, this is a guy that was a starter a couple of years ago for Maryland, even though they weren't good. And then last year for Wisconsin, he was named the starter. Now for Carolina, I got to tell you, I would like to see some of that consistent play against a real opponent, because it felt like we really never saw it at all last year.
This is one of the first years in a long time where I do not feel anything towards North Carolina football, like at all. It's like I'm dead inside when it comes to it. Like, I don't know what to expect. I didn't know who this Billy Edwards is. I still don't really know who he is. And usually I know a couple skill position players or something, kids that play football here. Yeah, and I don't know anyone. I know a couple of kids that are at Carolina that played on high school teams that Tobacco Road covers, but none of them are going to start or anything this year. Like, they're not needle movers like previous years where, like a Bryce Baker or somebody that I knew is over there, so I'm paying attention. I don't know what to expect, like, from Carolina football. I think the people with the purse strings, they don't know what to expect either. Like, Bill Belichick, you are on the clock, buddy. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, you're on the clock. And
it's not an easy schedule.
No, like, it's worse than last year. Like,
go to Clemson, you host Notre Dame. Like,
Notre Dame's ranked in the top 5 right now. Like, that people are picking them as a national title contender like this year. So it's not going to get any easy. You only won 4 games last year. So if they lose to TCU and get blown out week 1, all of this is going to start first week. What are we doing about Bill? What are we doing about Bill? Like, it's already kind of started. So,
and the thing is, like, when you look at the games that they won last year, like, okay, Charlotte. Ooh. Yeah, I hope you beat Charlotte. They beat, Stanford. I think they beat Syracuse. They should have beaten Cal, but didn't. That was like a last-minute stunner that I think Cal won over at their place. But, like, they were not good teams. Like, the only good team that Carolina almost beat last year, I think Cal was all right, but, like, legitimately good was Virginia at home. Remember that? Where Virginia ran it in the last little bit there, and they win the game. Other than that, like, there was nothing. And so I want
and half that team's gone. Half that roster's gone. So it's like you're having to relearn everything.
We don't know what to expect.
We don't know what to expect. We really don't know. Now David Glenn has said, expect the worst. It's like, this team is not very good. They're going to be the bottom of the ACC. Like, all the stuff you don't want to hear if you're a Carolina fan. But hey, basketball is right around the corner. So
that it is.
Buck up, Carolina fans. It's okay. We're going to be all right.
Let's get to the NFL very quickly because, oh boy. See, we talk Panthers around here, but if you're looking at it from a National Football league-wide scope, the story of the weekend came out of Cleveland. The story of the weekend was the Cleveland Browns. It's one of the few quarterback battles. I mean, it's really the only one left because Kyler Murray got named QB1. It's really the only one left that matters. And, Shedeur Sanders had a pretty nice weekend this week. He did have an interception, but if you go and look at it, like, it was a good pass. It just popped out of the receiver's hands, and, like, they took it. So it's like,
it happens.
Can't really blame him for that. But Deshaun Watson got in there, who I think a lot of people kind of just assumed, like, he's going to get the job. I don't know about that anymore because Shedeur's looked pretty solid. He says all the right things. Deshaun Watson doesn't. So he threw a pick this weekend, and fans booed him in Cleveland.
Oh, really?
They booed him.
Deshaun Watson, do you know where you are?
And Deshaun was asked about it after the game, and he said a number of things here that we'll just sit and react to.
Man, I didn't have no reaction. I think the biggest thing is, I think you guys know too, and I think the whole world knows, it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that. So I think it's a disrespectful thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep whatever I feel with me and my family internally on how I feel about that. Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles, and that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. What does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
Does that make you regret coming here?
No, I don't regret anything in my life. You know, I think the Lord put me through situations for a reason.
He doesn't regret anything in his life, Dez.
Yeah, let's start right there. You
That's
should.
the line.
You should. You should regret some stuff for your life. I don't. It's the whole absolve myself of wrongdoing that he has going on.
Totally.
Which I don't understand because I never caught that from him in college or whatever. Almost entitlement, sort of. But
yes.
First of all, you're in Cleveland, okay? Like Cleveland, I put Cleveland and Philly in the same category in terms of their fan base and how they are. They will boo you in a second. Like they booed LeBron James. Like you don't think they're gonna boo you? Like you've sat on your behind for going on. I shouldn't say sat. He got hurt, but before that, you weren't hurt, and you basically have sat for 4 years, 5 years, and collected.
He stunk when he played.
And you stunk when you played, and you've collected over $250 million in guaranteed money. Like the last year he was good was 2019. That was pre-COVID, WD. Like that was a whole different timeline than the one we're on right now. Like it's like a variant timeline that he was really good, and now he hasn't been. I don't know what the Browns are doing because he's going to be, I think, an unrestricted free agent after this year. I think it's the last year of his contract. And they're not going to trade him. There's no trade value really for him. So what's the point of starting him? Don't you need to find out what's going on with Shedeur?
You do. And so that's why this is so fascinating, because it's like you're trying to go up against the Cleveland fan base. Good luck. Good luck with that. And then, like you said, no accountability. Like just none whatsoever. Like he clearly hasn't learned his lesson. And yeah, they need to figure out what they have in Shedeur, because I mean, listen, if this, which honestly, like low key, there's some people out there that don't think Cleveland's actually going to be as bad as people think. Same with the Jets. That is yet to be seen. But if they are bad, like they're going to be in a spot to take a quarterback again. But if you're not, like, you need to figure out what you have in Shedeur. And last year they had that BS competition with him and Dylan Gabriel. Anybody heard anything from Dylan Gabriel lately?
No, don't even know where he is, to be honest. Like,
I guess he's there
he still
somewhere.
Yeah.
I think so, but you don't see him or hear from him. And now you got the Deshaun Watson thing. So I think and Shedeur's looked fine. Like he's looked actually pretty solid. I say put him in there. Just
see what you got.
Just eat it with Deshaun. It's just good grief.
Just see what you got, because like the Deshaun experiment is over.
Yeah.
I would like to think, but
we'll see about that. Getting back to our neck of the woods with the Charlotte Hornets. There's a couple of clips. So, the Panthers, they put something out called Panthers Blueprint. I'm not sure what this is, what the Hornets are calling this thing that they put out over the weekend. But there's a couple of interesting clips from it that got people talking, and not in a great way. So here was one clip where they were kind of showing you the ins and outs of the war room during the LaMelo Ball trade discussions, what they think they could get for him, what they're trying to do. And it's about a minute-long clip that kind of just gives you some insights into that process.
Oh, you know what? That video has a codec that's not supported.
Oh, really?
Quickly, I can switch that over. Let me see.
Okay, we can just cut this out. That's fine. That sucks.
That's not what I wanted to do. You couldn't hear that, could you?
I did.
Oh, you did hear it. Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
We might not have the video, but we can maybe hear it. Hold on.
Yeah, that's weird how it did that.
Interesting that they put that out. Like I'm kind of surprised they put out that. Like,
that's what a lot of people are talking about. It's like, why would you show this?
Yeah, like what's the benefit of this? Like that's the part I don't understand.
And I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I don't know. I mean, we knew their logic when they did it. I guess they just wanted to reinforce it in going into it. There's still people hurt that LaMelo got traded, but yeah, a little just odd, really odd.
Do you are you good over there? Or do you need me to send it as an MP3?
The other one, I'm not sure. I won't know until I try to pull it. So let me see. We have one more. You said you could hear that audio, right?
I heard something. I don't know if it was what you were.
Oh, so you couldn't hear it. Let me. Yeah, it just said the codec. It's not playing in StreamYard. The other one, I'm not sure either. This is a clip of the Hornets and the Heat playing net. You want to introduce that one? Let's see if I can get that going. Yeah, that's the same way. Yeah, so the clips aren't playing.
I can send them as MP3s just real fast.
It might let me do it from here. This is live. It's live action while we're doing this here. Let's see if I can try to find the. Yeah, it's literally just playing it when I try to drag it over. So I don't know. Anyway, this was it was audio on the Hornets and the Heat. So you're trying to send it over as a MP3?
Yeah, I can send that right quick.
Yeah, sound check. So it's all right. It's fine. It's because I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to upload it anyway, even once you send it. So interesting on the Hornets, that stuff's coming out now in the off season where I don't know if it was necessary to put it out. Like, I don't know if it was necessary at all to put any of that out. I don't know if it makes anybody feel better other than knowing that there was multiple teams out there and one met what they wanted for LaMelo, which ultimately was Minnesota. So we know all that. I don't know why the Hornets, but is that a full episode out of this? I couldn't find it anywhere. Is there a full episode out? Where's it at? Is it on their YouTube or something?
I want to say it's on their YouTube.
Okay. I might check it out a little later on today then.
So do you want me to just kind of like break down what the clips are, or
yeah, let's just do that because for the one, they might have been able to hear it when I played it. The one about the Hornets LaMelo trade, it's basically the front office debating whether or not they want to trade LaMelo. And this clip is out. I saw it yesterday. It's on social media. The Hornets put it out there where it's kind of like you said, it's like Panthers blueprint, like on draft day when they're in the back as Dan Morgan, those guys are taking calls and doing stuff. It was similar to that. So I didn't even know the Hornets had a program like that. So I don't know the name of it either, but I'll go look for it. It's somewhere on YouTube, probably on the Hornets YouTube channel. They did some kind of Hornets blueprint thing. Now the other one I didn't get a chance to hear, Hornets and Heat playing net.
Yes. Okay. So they cut down the net from that game that was epic stunner, and the internet kind of ran wild with this because there's like a 6-second clip out there of Charles Lee holding this. It's a case with the net in it, and then it's got like a little tiny plaque under it, like saying that's the Heat net from that playing game and the date under it. And the internet ran with this 6-second clip of Charles Lee like showing this to a room full of people, thinking that they were going to maybe like display this in Spectrum Center somewhere, which would be sad. That's not. Yeah, we don't do that right here. No. Per usual, the internet doesn't get the full context. They don't get the entire clip, and maybe this will make you feel differently about it. This was actually a gift for Kobe White, who kind of. Yeah. He hit the shots, plural, but the big shot, obviously. He hit several shots throughout that game to kind of keep them in it in the second half when LaMelo went, rogue.
Yeah.
And so they made this thing and they put the net in the case and they gave it to Kobe White like as a gift.
I will say this, Charles Lee. Yeah, it does make me feel a little different, but again, why are you putting this out? Why is this out? Like, it just looks weird. And I will say Charles Lee, head coach for the Hornets, he is 100% in the corner of Kobe White. Like, if you hear his comments about him and the conviction he has towards them. They believe in Kobe White being the leader of this franchise going forward over LaMelo Ball, which made it easier for them to trade LaMelo Ball. And I gotta agree, Kobe's got the talent to do it. Like, I've been watching him since high school. Like, he has the ability to take this team. They have talent around him, and I didn't realize until today. I saw a graphic. They've got playoff experience on this roster now between Schroeder, Grayson Allen, Naz Reid has been deep in the playoffs at Minnesota. Like, they've got some guys now.
Legit.
I think Naz Reid's gonna be an all-star. Like, honestly, like, in this lineup, I think he could be an Eastern Conference all-star, which will make people forget in a hurry what was going on before. If we're 30-15, 45 games in or something like that, no one's gonna be talking about LaMelo Ball. They're gonna be talking about the Charlotte Hornets, and that's the way it should be.
Yep, 100%. So that is today's edition of Sound Check. So now let's welcome in. Let's get back to the Panthers discussion. Let's welcome in Ricky Raines, who is a co-host on the Panthers on Tap podcast. All right, let's welcome in Ricky Raines, one of the co-hosts of Panthers on Tap podcast. Ricky, how we doing, man?
Doing good, man. Always doing a little bit better after a victory, even if it's in preseason for the Carolina Panthers, right?
It's true. And, Dez and I were talking about this earlier in the show. It was a much better showing offensively this week than last week in Buffalo. Some of that might have had to do with Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, being back in front of Bryce Young. They are paying those guys a lot of money to protect him. After all, he didn't have those guys at Buffalo. But, I mean, just at the top, what was kind of the biggest takeaway you had watching in Jacksonville the other night?
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on it for me, right? It's the offensive line. It's specifically the interior. And I don't like to single out players because, look, I'm not a professional athlete. I can't do anything that they're doing at the level they're doing, even the ones that fans think are not playing well. But I have seen more action shut down before it starts by Chandler Zavala individually than like opposing political views at a speed dating event, right? And so seeing Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt back and seeing Robert Hunt kind of like playing that compadre with Monroe Freeling, the rookie on the right side, we got a glimpse of what that can look like in the run game and the pass game. And Jonathan Brooks went for 18 yards in this game on a long rush of 11. Bryce Young had one incompletion. The rest of them were successful. He looked like he was in complete control. It's interesting, the juxtaposition of giving a guy a little bit of time to show that he has that command and the ability of the offense. Brad Idzik was able to kind of get into his bag a little bit deeper with the run game getting going and Bryce finding some success. So I just overall, man, for me, it was the execution and the consistency and kind of the ease in which that second drive kind of kicked off for them.
Ricky Raines, Panthers content creator, joining the show here on The Drive with WD and Dez. Ricky, the main guy for me that jumped off the screen was Jimmy Horn, of course. Jimmy Horn Jr. had a fantastic game. And he's kind of in this competition, the back end of that wide receiver room. I'm trying to figure out how many wide receivers they're going to keep. How many wide receivers do you think they're going to end up keeping? And is Jimmy Horn? Well, it feels like Jimmy Horn kind of cemented his place on Friday with that performance. But who do you, in your mind, can you name off like let's say there's 6, or say they keep 7, or whatever it may be? Can you name off the guys you think are going to be in that wide receiver room? Because it is loaded for really the first time in probably. I can't remember when, actually, to be honest. Maybe when Steve Smith was here, like back in the day, him and Moose, like.
And even then, you get to the bottom of that room, right? And you're like,
after Ricky Prohl, it was like,
right, no, I think it's a great question, and I think that's going to be one of the most interesting storylines to watch from the game 3 into the end of the weekend, and then cut day. I think that they end up keeping 6, and my rationalization for that, Dez, is that I think that they're going to want to keep some of those DBs that they got. They have a stacked defensive backs room, right? Whether you're talking about corners, safeties, linebackers, they also got some things that they're going to work out there, defensive line, offensive line. But for the wide receivers, obviously you got the key 3 for me are going to be Tetairoa McMillan, Jalen Coker, and I still believe that Xavier Legette is going to have a significant role in this offense. I think that it's going to be a more natural role for him, honestly, like that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2 complementary type of role I think is better for him. In that Z alignment, kind of let him play that role as opposed to playing X exclusively. And then I think you go down. I'm going to have Jimmy Horn Jr. penciled in there as wide receiver 4. And this isn't necessarily like the depth chart, but this is my feeling of are they going to be safe when that cut day comes. I think that you said it. Jimmy Horn Jr. has proven more in these preseason games in this offseason than I think almost anybody else in that wide receiver room, if you want my honest opinion. We knew that he had the speed, but for me last year as a rookie, they didn't trust him, it seemed, because they didn't put him out there in a lot of situations. This year, you're seeing that juice. You're seeing the acceleration. You're seeing all of that. But you're seeing him with a little bit better vision in the special teams as well. You're seeing him back there as a kick returner, punt returner. He's making moves. I thought he had some instances last season where he kind of like veered to the sideline, or he just kind of went into collision and stopped the play, where he had a cutback lane where he could have done something. He looks a lot more creative and a lot more willing to go for that extra yard. And that yak creation is something that wide receiver room needs a ton of. So Jimmy Horn Jr. is in there for me. Then I'm keeping John Mechie, guys. I think John Mechie has been an absolute dependable wide receiver, useful special teams player as well. And then if I have to go with my 6, I'm going to keep Bryson Tremaine because of what I just talked about, the special teams contribution. I don't know necessarily that he offers a whole ton in the way of a wide receiver necessarily, but I also think that Jasim Reed is a guy that likely can clear waivers and stay safe on the practice squad. He only played in the one preseason game, then deal with an injury. I don't know that he's going to get poached and take up a spot on somebody else's 53. So those are the 6 that I take, I think.
So we mentioned Jonathan Brooks earlier in the segment here, and he got his first NFL touchdown. Wasn't regular season, but nonetheless, his first time as a pro getting into the end zone. He honors his dad when he gets in the end zone. So it's very when you factor that in with just his journey so far, the torn ACLs, it's a very emotional journey to watch. And I think he's going to be a really nice 1-2 punch with Chuba. I mean, it's no shade on Rico Dowdle from a year ago because he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, we all remember the Green Bay game. He had some great moments. But I think Jonathan Brooks' style of maybe pass catching could mesh a little bit better with Chuba's downhill style. How do you expect the run game with those two in the backfield to maybe look a little different this year from a year ago?
No doubt about it. I think that his pass catching prowess is going to play a huge part in benefiting this offense. Bryce Young, back to his Alabama days, right? He had Jahmyr Gibbs as his little outlet out of the backfield to create. And you open up the concepts downfield, give your running back some one-on-one opportunities. If you got a guy that can make the first guy miss, then, hey, you're off to the races, right? I think that's a criticism that a lot of fans have had with Chuba Hubbard, who I'm a big fan of. Big League Chew is the nickname for him for a reason for me. I think that he's legit. He's the heart and soul of the locker room. But Jonathan Brooks, man, this is a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of tread on the tires, right? You know that he has the explosive ability. He's not necessarily a burner like a Jahmyr Gibbs, but at Texas, he reached about 21 miles an hour on a breakaway run. It's not slow, right? We just saw Jimmy Horn Jr. open it up on that reverse play in the preseason last week, and he got up to about 20.5 miles per hour. So if you thought that was fast, Jonathan Brooks could do that, and he's about 6'1", 220 pounds. So you don't really want to see that coming down at you. I think that Jonathan Brooks is going to end up being the running back 1 of that committee as well. I truly believe that what he offers from a dynamic ability is something that this offense has been craving. If he can stay healthy and he can show that his body can hold up to a little bit more rigorous, wear and tear, I don't think that they're going to be shy about giving him as much as he can handle. He's also in year 3 of his contract as a rookie, right? So, you have to find out what do we have with this guy because you're going to have a decision to make in a year. And paying running backs is already controversial. Paying a running back coming off of 2 ACLs is a whole nother conversation. But I think that Jonathan Brooks is going to be fine. I know a lot of people been out of shape about his pass protection because of the 1 rep where he allowed the linebacker to get in on Bryce Young and create a pressure. But I think it's a part of his game at Texas that I was a big fan of. And then he came back on 3rd down and proved that he was good at it as well because he facilitated the pass to Tommy Tremble for a 1st down. So I'm excited to see Jonathan Brooks this year, man. I'm a big fan.
There's we haven't spoken about him yet, but the elephant in the room, of course, is quarterback Bryce Young. We do not expect to see him in this upcoming preseason game. I don't expect to see any of the starters, to be honest, considering they've already played 3 games, 1 more extra game than everybody else in the league. I do. On one hand, I'm like, okay, Bryce looked great on Friday. On the other hand, I'm like, he should have looked great because the Jags didn't play any of their starters. And if you're going to try to see if your offense is going to work, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. And I felt like they took that opportunity with Bryce. How are you feeling about Bryce Young going into this opening week 1 here in September from what you've seen from the past 2 weeks in preseason and what you've been hearing and reporting on with these joint practices and training camp and everything else? It feels like the vibes are still good. It feels like Bryce is kind of taking more control as a leader of this team. What are your thoughts on Bryce going into this season? What would constitute a successful season for Bryce Young as he's looking for this extension?
That's the tricky part. As fans, we don't have access to see all of, training camp and these practices and things like that. So you take what the local and national coverage is giving you and you kind of read between the lines. You talk to some people that are there and see how they're feeling about it. The preseason game, I didn't take anything from the Bills game, if you want my honest opinion. There was nothing you could take from
nothing,
that. The offensive line didn't let anybody do anything. It was 9 plays, 3 and out.
Bring on Haynes King. Like, that's all I heard from the people on X. Like, oh, Haynes King's our savior. And I'm like,
and hey, if we really want to get into that whole conversation, do we think that Haynes King could have done what Kenny Pickett was able to do in this past game? Can he lead the offense in that way? I don't know. That's a whole different conversation. I didn't mean to open up that box. Sorry. But Bryce Young, for me personally, everything that I'm hearing, right, is the control, the comfortability, how he's being more vocal. He's demanding better out of his supporting cast. And I think that what a lot of people were kind of like hesitant about with Bryce, he's so soft-spoken and he's so like well-mannered even that you wonder, does he have that dog in him? Does he have that like, is he going to bark at somebody if they're wrong? Is he going to fix things as a leader? And I think that all the reports out of this offseason, out of training camp, are that he does have that. What you saw in the joint practice, or what you heard about in the joint practice this week with the Jaguars, is that when they were kind of getting their butts whooped, the offense was, by the Jaguars' first-team defense, him and T-Mac and everybody else, they kind of sat down. They're like, hey, we got to stop being cute about this, guys. Like, we need to go out there and we need to put the ball in the place where it's supposed to be. We need to make the plays. We need to catch the ball. We need to do something with it afterwards. Stop getting cute with it was the word that T-Mac used. They went out, and from all accounts, they had a much better showing in the second half of that joint practice. What I'm looking for, Dez, though, for a successful season, first and foremost for me, you can't start super slow on the first 2 to 3, 4 games. I need to see this offense come out and have that urgency, have that fire lit underneath them from game 1. Because last year, we came down to the end of that season where we had 2 or 3 games and we were vying for that playoff spot. This year, you got some injuries in the NFC South that are going to be kind of impactful towards the beginning of this season. You could come in and kind of really seize an opportunity if you're the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. Bryce Young is playing for a contract extension. We all know that. I get the sentiment talking to people around, the team that they want to be able to give Bryce that extension. They want him to be the answer. They like Bryce Young. They believe in Bryce Young. But there is still that I don't want to look like a fool for doing this off of liking you and feeling good about this. I want to have some substantial evidence that I can point to and say, look at what he's done. And for the past 3 seasons, he has improved on all of those key metrics. But now you're looking for production individually. You're looking for numbers. You're looking for touchdowns. And you're looking for an improved record and feeling like it's a consistency thing. If he can get rid of the lows, right, those extremely low lows, if the valleys are a little bit more of just a little dip in the mountains, and you still got those peaks, right? Like those Atlanta Falcons games where you go for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, right? If you could throw a couple of those in there, but then you're not throwing for 90 against the Saints, that's what I'm looking for.
Let's get you out of here on this one, kind of continuing the Bryce Young conversation, because to your point, I do think he's got that dog in him. I think it's more behind the scenes. Like y'all remember that video that came out like in the early days of OTAs this year where he was like cursing and he was like, that bleeping.
Bombs.
Yeah. I think it had rained that day, so there were some drops, and he was like, it ain't raining anymore, and he was dropping some F-bombs out there. So you kind of like to see that, like a sense of urgency, and everything that I've heard, like all reports sound like this has been the best camp that Bryce has ever had, for whatever that's worth. I mean, I think it matters some. But if it were up to you, so we've talked about we need to, because Dez and I, we talk about, do we really have like a 3-game stretch of him back to back to back? Okay, he's good. It's kind of like it's one here, and then, Rico Dowdle and Lambeau last year was kind of the reason they won that game. And then, okay, Bryce turned it back on against the Rams type deal. So what would you, Ricky Raines, need to see? Like if you were in Dan Morgan's position, what type of season would make you comfortable to give him that extension at the end of the year? And what would make you go, I'm not sold?
I'm so bad at putting numbers to something, right? Like a quantitative season, because I do understand too, like, and you guys know this, like there's usually a ton of nuance and context that goes into some of these numbers, right? If Tedero McMillan is out for the season, then what can we expect out of Bryce Young? That changes it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put that in the universe. Please, everybody knock on as much wood as you can find right now, because we know how snake bitten this team has been so far. But for the sake of this conversation, right, and simplicity, I think that you're looking for like a 3,500 yards or more type of passing numbers. I think you're looking for 25 or more touchdowns. Closer to 30 is better. Keep the total turnovers under 15. Bryce Young, I do want to see him take some more chances. So I'm not going to be upset if the interception number increases a tiny bit. I think he threw, 9 or 11 or something like that last season. I'm okay if it gets up to that 11 or 12 range. If the touchdowns are increasing, the yardage is increasing, and they're pushing that ball down the field a little bit more. If he's giving one-on-one opportunities to guys like Jalen Coker, to Tedero McMillan, to Xavier Legette deep, if he's giving those opportunities, I'm okay if it doesn't always work as a successful play. I want it to be a successful process. And one thing I think Bryce Young has proven is that he does process the game very well, full field reads. So I'm looking for that. I do think, though, that the biggest part, man, this offense still is controlled by the ground game. Like, it's going to go as the ground game goes. If they're able to shut that element down and focus on the pass game, it could be difficult for us. So I think that for Bryce Young, be consistent, man. Do not let everything get too big for you. Let's have some built-ins on the offense to help on those difficult games. And 3,500, 25, 28 touchdowns, somewhere in that range. I feel pretty good about that.
All right, since we got you in the prediction mode to get you out of here on this, since we're usually after week 3, that's usually when I start doing the win-loss thing that everybody does way back in like January when the stuff first comes out. Give us a prediction on the Panthers record and whether or not they can win the NFC South for a second straight year.
All right, so if anyone knows me from watching the show or anything like that, you guys know that usually up until week 1, my prediction is always the same, and it's 17-0. That's all I'm thinking right
like
now,
Jonathan
right?
Stewart, I swear.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like, that's the only correct answer. Like, you got to go 17-0. Until I start getting nervous in a real game, I'm 17-0 all day. But to be fair about it, I will say I think they win 10 or 11 games. I'm going to go 11. I'm going to go on the high end here, and I'm going to say 11-6.
Right.
I do think they win the NFC South again this season. I think that our defense is going to be much improved. I'm really excited about Jalen Phillips. I'm really excited about Devin Lloyd. I'm not sure if they have another linebacker to play with Devin Lloyd right now, but we're going to find that out. I think that this team is in the proper trajectory to keep on taking steps. I think Brad Idzik is going to be great for the offense. So I'm actually pretty bullish on this team, man, and I'm excited to see them this season 11-6 and back-to-back NFC South champions.
That sounds like a tall drink of water after walking through the desert as a Panthers fan, if that actually happens. So
it's early on Sunday, man, so I'm just having a little coffee and enjoying myself, you know?
Ricky, tell them where they can find your content since we're getting you out of here.
Yeah. Panthers on Tap. First of all, thank you guys very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Panthers on Tap. We do episodes weekly, usually on Wednesday nights, but we're not consistent with that. Sometimes it's a Tuesday, sometimes it's Thursday. Life happens, man. We all got kids and stuff. So Wednesday night, 9 p.m., YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all those great places to subscribe. You can find me personally on Twitter at Ricky Bowbody, BOBODDY. And then we do some draft stuff in the offseason, Draft Crush with me and my buddy Edgar Salmingo Jr. So you can check that out as well.
I need to hit up Edgar. I haven't talked to him in a minute. Good stuff from Edgar and all the guys that you deal with over there. Shout out for coming through. We'll definitely bring you back on. We're trying to build a panel of Panther content creators we can go grab. So it's not just like traditional, beat writers and stuff that are reporting on the Panthers. Because as you know, you guys put in a lot of work and a lot of it's great work, and a lot of fans don't get a chance to get exposed to it. So that's one of the things we wanted to start exposing the average fan to, that there's more out there than just the beat writer for such and such paper or such and such magazine or whatever. So
I appreciate that about you, man. And, I did the beat writing gig for a little bit for pro football as well. And it's tough sledding out there for the media nowadays. So I appreciate you guys wanting to shine the light on some of the independent contractors or content creators as well.
All right, well, that's it. And there you go. That's Ricky Raines. You definitely check out Panthers on Tap, and we will be checking in with you soon, buddy.
Thank you, man.
All right, there he goes. Panther content creator Ricky Raines giving us some insight on the Panthers preseason.
Boom.